Looking for work as a technical writer can be a challenge. While there are openings in the field, you'll never see as many listings as you'll see for programmer or even web developer. On the plus side, there's not as much competition either. I live in Tucson, Arizona. It's a mid-sized city with some IT companies, but it isn't a tech hotspot. That makes job searches a perpetual challenge. Because of this, I've always worked hard to figure out the job search game. And I even spent a significant chunk of the aughts running a job website for writers in my spare time. I got my first technical writing job in the mid-1990s, and because I spent most of my early career working contracts instead of regular employment, I looked for work a lot. As time has passed, some things have gotten a lot easier. There are more concentrated places to look for job listings. Networking is more accessible, and remote work has expanded the range of locations you can consider for a job. That said, looking for work is rarely easy, and it's essential to look for every advantage you can get. Here are my top tips for looking for technical writing work. Job sites. Long before you need to look for a new job, you should be positioning yourself for that future job search. Get on all the major job sites: LinkedIn, Monster, Dice, Indeed, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, and Simply Hired, among others. The list of sites is long and you don't need to be everywhere, but at a minimum, get on LinkedIn so you can start networking with other professionals. I'll do a separate presentation on how to make the most of LinkedIn, but suffice to say that you should use every possible tool they make available. When I knew I eventually wanted to leave my last job, I spent months building up my number of contacts, taking their online classes, and setting up my portfolio. When the time finally came to make a move, LinkedIn played a big part in getting my next job. That said, they are just one resource. Look at all the job sites, especially those that seem to have listings in your area. Portfolio site. Beyond job sites, it's a good idea to set up your own website. It can be a comprehensive place to display your portfolio of work, write some blog articles about your experiences, and advertise that you accept freelance opportunities. Don't expect the world to come knocking on that door. The days of massive traffic for private blogs are mostly over, but it is a great place to send people when they have questions. Tailor your resume. Almost every job search begins with polishing your resume. A million resources will give you advice on the best resume, so I won't try to recreate the wheel, but my advice is to make your resume flexible. The resume you might attach to LinkedIn or your website to catch people who are just looking should be comprehensive, but when you are applying for a specific job, make sure your resume is the best match for that job. Make sure your wording matches the wording as much as possible. If they ask for Microsoft Word, list Microsoft Word. If they ask for Office 365, use that instead. Don't lie, obviously, but make your relevant experience as close to what they are looking for as you can. Know your synonyms. There are a lot of job titles in the technical writing area. Be ready to search for more than just technical writer positions. Instead of technical, they might say content, documentation, manual, information, business, or even just tech. Instead of writer, they may list a job as specialist, strategist, communicator, author, editor, or manager. You might even see listings for developers, designers, and architects. It's a big tent, and you'd hate to miss out on an opportunity just because you didn't check for the job title. Interview tips. Once you get a job interview, that's when you can press some advantages most people don't understand. Interviews can be tricky, especially if you are an introvert like many writers are. There are many articles and videos about acing your job interview, so I won't go on at length, but having interviewed many times, I can tell you that the main trick is to look for problems you can solve. Get them to describe their current situation. In most cases, they have a problem that needs to be solved. The content is old, the content is inaccurate, the customers are complaining, or the delivery system, my specialty, is outdated. Listen to their problems and talk about how you would approach them. The more you can get them talking about the project and you talking about the solutions, the less time you'll spend answering typical dumb interview questions like, name a time you had to deal with a difficult coworker. While we are on that subject, if they spend a lot of time asking questions about how to deal with a crisis or conflict, run, don't walk away from that company. Be patient. It can be frustrating and scary to look for a job when money is tight and rent is due. I've been there. After the tech crash of 2001, I had a dry spell that lasted so long that I just about gave up on the career path entirely. Jobs do come, though. You have to be patient, persistent, and active. I know this is easier said than done, but it's what needs to happen. There's a lot to say about finding work as a technical writer, and I'm sure I'll come back to this topic again. If I can leave you with one thought, though, it's this: prepare now, even if you don't need to work now. Set up that profile, build up that portfolio. Keep the resume up to date, make contacts. You make the next job search that much easier if you do that now. Back when I first started, job searches were nearly blind. You set out print, or if you were lucky, email resumes to recruiters and companies, and you hope to hear back from them. Now, you can take the time to promote yourself in so many valuable ways. Take advantage of that. Thanks for listening, and please give a thumbs up. If you have any tips or questions, please leave a comment.